Your party dashes in from the streets at the entrance of the courtyard of the manor itself. That's when the lightning strikes. The shadows give way for a moment. And at the top of the stairs, you see an ogre magi already completing the arc.
It's been a long time. It has been several years since a full, real campaign of Dungeons and Dragons has been started here. And I'm really glad that we finally got a chance to break that streak. So, COVID really hit us hard. Knocked us down for a while, right? It was hard to get together. But that's behind us for now, thank goodness. And we are gaming again. So it took a while. It took a while to figure out what exactly was going to happen. I didn't know exactly how many players I was going to be having to return. I didn't know exactly what we would play, right? I bounced around ideas from basic D&D to first edition D&D, and I even had some non-D&D ideas for Werewolf the Apocalypse / changing breed campaign that popped in my head that I wanted to do. But, I came back to 3rd edition, specifically 3.5. Although first edition AD&D and basic are still two of my favorites at my heart, with one new player coming in that's only played 5th edition, and to tell you the truth, most of my older players haven't even played 1st edition in so long. 3rd edition 3X, I guess, was still freshest in everyone's mind. So I thought that'd be the easiest thing to jump right back into. So I took a look at my 3rd edition stuff over here, and I realized that I had concentrated over the years of rebuilding my collection after the fire, mostly on the 3rd edition hardcover books and 1st edition basic stuff. I didn't have the modules. So I went on Amazon and I solved that problem. I still got to get the last one. I just wanted to see if that was down in price a little bit. But yeah, so I solved that problem. Then I started taking a look at some of my, at my tile / terrain collection stuff to see what I had on hand. I have a nice amount, actually. But I wanted to take a look at it since it's been a while. Looking through the modules, I realized I didn't like the first module. I wasn't feeling it. So I looked at the second, and I liked that. Forge of Fury. I did. I really liked that a lot, and I said to myself, this I want to DM this. And, because that reminded me that when 3rd edition came out, I had actually spent most of my time DMing 1st and 2nd edition modules in 3rd edition. Or I was picking and choosing from dungeon adventures and other things that were given to us for free online, instead of actually playing through the modules originally. So this was new to me, even though I had been through 3rd edition during its entire run. But this second module, this Forge of Fury, I really liked it. And I thought to myself, okay, well, let me take a look at my cavern style stuff. And I thought most of everything I needed. So I got a few extra print-made pieces made for mainly walls. To make some walls on the table to surround us all in. And I thought, okay, that's cool. I took a look at the rest of the module, and I saw that there was one thing that I really, really wanted to have to represent this module, and I didn't have. And that was a bridge, specifically, a rope bridge if I could, and if not, just a cheap-looking plank bridge, And I found a couple of things. I found something on Etsy that looked interesting. Regular, just Google, click shopping result, a few came up. And the one thing that did come up that I really liked, that I ended up getting, I just want to tell you, I don't use this. I haven't used this system before, and that's a Whiz Kids Warlock tiles. So I needed a bridge, and I found this, and it worked out really good. This is the back of the box. Worked out really good. I probably got some pictures fading in right now for that. And I was happy. The gang was happy. It looked great. So I was ecstatic. Not just happy. I was ecstatic. Now, I was also trying to see what else can I do. What else can I, if I'm looking at accessories, what else can I get? And I came across this. I came across these Lynx condition rings, and I got them, and they're pretty cool. You know, you just you put them on the base of the characters, you know, like they're blessed or something, and it reminds you. It does a good job at doing that. So these worked out good. I was happy I had those. And the same company also had something I just had to get. I just had to get for one of my players in particular, and that is the timeout chair. This is timeout, and the dunce cap for your dice. Dunce. And yes, by the way, it came in handy. It was needed on at least one occasion in the first game. So, and everyone had a great laugh. Everyone had a really fun laugh with that. So that was worth it. That $17 was worth it for the laugh effect alone. Now, something else I decided to pick up. Was spell effects. I noticed that there's boxes of these things being sold online, and I decided to get a couple, and now I want them all. So I ended up getting the Walls of Fire and the Walls of Ice. And they look really cool. I think I still got some pictures I'm throwing up about those. And well, they didn't come in necessary yet for any game, but they will. And this is Spell Effects Mighty Conjuring, which just has the physical representation of a lot of spells. You know, and I thought to myself, is it something that's needed? No, I've played this for 47 years without anything like this to represent spells on the tabletop. But I thought it'd be interesting. It'd be nice, because some things like Force Cage Box, a Flaming Sphere, and you could argue Mordenkainen's Faithful Hound, Mordenkainen's Sword, definitely Pillars of the Earth, Arcane Eye, Dancing Lights. Actually, just about everything in here, you could very easily have been using dice or something to represent where is Mordenkainen's Hound in this battle. But now you have the actual piece. So that's cool. And I noticed there's a Divine box also of magical, I think it's Arcane and Divine effects that I'm looking into getting. And there's 2 boxes of summoning, for like summon monsters, summon nature's ally kind of spells. And there's also one for polymorph that I'm going to be looking into getting. But anyways, that's everything I did just in preparation for the game. Made sure I had everything I needed. And then I wrote up all my notes. I talked to the players. I got their ideas of what they wanted for characters. And then what I did was I simply wrote out everything about that particular race that they asked about. Half-orc, half-elf, human, gnome. And on a sheet of paper for each of them individually, I wrote down all the information for that particular race. So since I'm doing the second module, I decided we were starting at 3rd level. Obviously, I'm not going to throw 1st level characters on that. I'm not that mean. But yeah, so then information on what a 3rd level character gets, and information on what the class or classes get at the level or levels that they're taking to make 3. And then from there, whatever other information I needed them to have, and I had the sheets here ready for them. I had blank sheets and the note sheets. And I was like, guys, you just have to do your stats. Once you get your ability stats down, we'll know your saves, and then you figure out your skills, how many points you want to dedicate what to where, and we're ready to go. So that's what we did. And that took a lot longer. That took a couple hours, even with all the prep work I did. Ron was even laughing at how I did 90% of the work for him, and he couldn't remember what the hell else to do with the other 10%. So it was a slow start. Next game will be much, much better because we won't have to deal with all that. So we finally got the start. Forge of Fury. Now, I had everything set up. I had, as far as I thought. In my mind, I said to myself, there's no way, with the amount of time we have today, there's no way they're going to get further than this point. And that was the bridge. That was the bridge. So there's no way they can get further than that. So I only set up to the bridge. Also, there was a secret door in a secret room. I didn't set them up because I ran out of tile stuff. I did. I ran out of tile stuff, floor tile stuff. So we just kind of penciled and papered that, if you know what I mean. Remember the old school way? But that only came up with very quickly, twice, with two quick little encounters. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay, so all my players had to do was simply sneak in. The two orc guards that are guarding the entrance to the dwarven mines was a Kundrakar. It even says in the module that they're kind of distracted, not really caring for their duties much. They're complaining about the Great Oaf as a horrible leader. So it kind of gives them an event. And it even says that there's, it kind of describes what with terrain stuff we would call scatter, laying and strewn and broken and discarded a hole along the path. So they had every opportunity. And they did good, too. They snuck up within like 10, 15 feet of the two orcs. But you see, the problem was, I think it was the monk. Yeah, it was the monk. When the monk went to go handle the second orc, he kind of stepped into view of the path going further into the cave. We were coming along the cliffside, making the fight here, and then it goes into Kundrakar, the mountain door, and he stepped into view. And it was a nat 20 for the archer that was hidden 15 feet up the wall inside the secret passage with his bow and arrow looking out the arrow slit hole. He was a little distracted too. Other guards are kind of lazy. But he rolled a nat 20. And even besides the fact that it was a nat 20, it was still more than enough to spot the monk now that the monk was engaged in combat and no longer hiding. So the alarm was raised. Even though the two initial guards at the entrance were dispatched, the alarm was still raised. Arrows were flying down at us. The entire party was in trouble, and the rogue was able to get one of his tanglefoot bags, threw it up at the first arrow slit, the one with the most easy, straightforward path, looking down at them, and was able to gook that up, and that helped. But it took some rounds and some turns, especially with the gnome moving a little slow. And the fighter in the heavy split armor was moving slow as well down that corridor. By the time we got to the stairs, though, it wasn't too late. This is a nice timetable in the module of if things hit the fan, how everything's going to go down. What are the orcs doing once the alarm is raised? So one of the things is closing the door at the top of the stairs. And we weren't up to that point yet. So the orcs, seeing that they were through the other slit holes, seeing that they were getting to the doors and the doors were still open, it was late. It was a little bit too late. So they were making their attacks as best they could through the arrow slits while running to the secret door to deal with us in the corridor. I say us. To deal with the party in the corridor. Now, the necromancer in the group was able to summon undead, cast that spell and get a human skeleton to help fight with us, which didn't really help. Well, I guess it did help, because even though the skeleton got destroyed real fast, it did waste the time of one of the orcs to dispatch it. So I guess that helped. By the time the party dealt with the orcs, that was the very first one, since they saw that the two initial guards got taken out. It was their job to raise the alarm, so that's why the archers had to do it. So one of the archers of the party barely got to see run away through the bridge to the bridge room. Now I changed the map just a little bit because of the pieces that I had. So instead of a solid closed like oaken door leading to the bridge, I had put down a portcullis, a little gate door. So I just went with it. So through the darkness, and then there's a brazier giving off light, giving off light on the other side. They were able to see an orc run away. And then through the darkness, more than anything else, they heard the bridge slam. They heard the wooden planks whoosh, slam against the side of the stone cliff wall. And that is where the first session ended. And the police showed up, and the fire department, as you can hear. Now, the bad news with the party is because there is a list of things that the orcs are going to do once the alarm is raised. By the time the game was suspended momentarily until the next session, that was 5 rounds, since they were spotted until the ending of the first session. So the orcs are well on their way to fortifying things and getting ready for this attack. And I'm going to play it out just like that. Now, we do have one of our players couldn't make it on the first session. And we are all really hoping that he's going to be able to make it for this next one that we're having. And that, even though the orcs are setting up, I wouldn't say ambush. No, they're setting up lines of defense, right, is more like it. Even though they're setting up their lines of defense for us, there is an ace up our sleeves now. Sleeves? Yeah, collectively. Up our sleeves. There's an ace. So that could turn the tides for the party. I go back and forth with the pronouns here. Could turn the tides for the party. And I'm really hoping it does, because second game in, a total party kill is not what I'm looking for as a DM, but it's not like I'm going to be altering roles or doing anything like that. What happens, happens, and that's part of the game, dealing with it. So let's see what else happens further down the dungeon. Now, one good thing is, if the party is able to dispatch the defensive line of the orcs here within the rope bridge room and the following room right after that, that's going to leave the rest of the level clear of orcs for them. There's no wandering monsters on this level, and the orc patrol isn't due back for several more days. So if they can handle these next 2 rooms, and hopefully that ace in the sleeve player coming back to the group is gonna help. If they can survive the next 2 room encounters, then the entire rest of the mountain door level is theirs. Is pretty much theirs for the taking. So I'm really curious to see how this plays out. I'm so happy to be back to DMing and running my friends through a game. All right, so there'll be more later. Thanks for joining me and checking this out. Leave your questions and about what's going on, and I'll do my best to answer them. I know lately I've been really slack on answering comments, but this is different. This is Dungeons and Dragons. All right, thank you for joining me. I'm your buddy Big John at G for 2 Gun Pixie Presents. Legendary Gaming, and I am out of here.